Ms Stephenson, Letters, February 28, writes that we Scots should be honestly told we cannot have everything for free and that hard choices have to be made. This is a strange criticism of a government on a relatively fixed revenue base, largely determined by Westminster, and with limited borrowing powers. In such circumstances, choices will be particularly hard, for they will often be zero-sum. More spent on A means less on B, a problem that cannot be avoided by resort to the financial markets, as for instance Westminster can. Ms Stephenson is quite correct that government funding is about priorities. Of course it is, but while Ms Stephenson may not agree with the Scottish Government's priorities, they were chosen by the Scottish electorate. She is also critical of the performance of the Scottish Government on several health measures, so perhaps she didn't see Professor Danny Dorling on BBC4's 100 Days, commenting on, as the interviewer put it, the shocking degree of health inequalities in England, and in particular the decline in life expectancy among women, especially in deprived areas. One of his observations is that infant mortality in England has risen since 2015, but in Scotland more was spent in this area, and infant mortality has declined. However, perhaps his most potent point is that the healthcare system in England is heading in the direction of one of the wealthier states in America, where medicine is privatized. However, in Scotland his view is that Scotland's NHS is influenced slightly more by the Scandinavian model of high-quality public services paid for by tax at a rate much higher than we would be used to in the UK. This illustrates well Ms Stephenson's most profound difficulty, as any significant policy drift, or splitting apart in the United Kingdom in terms of spending, policy, beliefs and outcomes, as Professor Dorling put it, between Scotland and England is inconsistent with the concept of the Union. Such policy drift may well result in the Scottish electorate being faced with a choice of how best to realise their own priorities, as part of a United Kingdom which in terms of spending and policy and so on we have increasingly little in common, or independence where we are free to determine our own choices between our own priorities and to set spending to suit. Alistair Galloway, Dumbarton. The day job that the SNP is constantly advised to concentrate on instead of yapping on about independence is of course to be getting on with the Westminster-directed government in the same way that Toryism and Labour in Scotland take their orders direct from London. Letters and columns in the Herald that suggest that the SNP's campaigning while in government for independence alongside taking care of immediate responsibilities is incompatible practice, are choosing to dislodge the SNP from its foe. For more on this story, visit the news article link.